Hello there. This week, I will be talking about releasing expectations. The fact that we have these limits and boundaries that we've put in place, and then we're mind blown when we're disappointed that people don't meet our expectations that we have on them. Get your journals out. If you haven't already, get your journals out. Let's take some notes. Let's heal. Let's learn. Let's grow together. Let's get into it. I am Dr. Zen Johnson. Welcome to Unlearning Life as We Know It. I believe that we all deserve to be happy and that we have the ability to unlearn the old ways, learn new ways, and grow to become the greatest version of ourselves. Start your journey to a happier life right now. All right. Great day, everyone. Thank you for joining me once again. I am Dr. Zen Johnson, and today we are going to be talking about releasing expectations. And you may be saying like, okay, expectations, like, why do we need to talk about this? Like, aren't we supposed to have expectations? We all automatically do it. Yes. Right. For people in our lives, for places we go, for things that we do, we automatically agree to something and then we set an expectation for what we believe it is supposed to be. However, today, I would like to have the conversation on, is it possible that we are limiting our experiences by having these boundaries that we have put in place, AKA expectations? Okay. Also, I would like for us to think about, just consider that maybe we are setting ourselves up to be disappointed in the process. Okay. Now, I'm going to go in a little bit more detail about this, but first let's just talk about, why do we usually set expectations? Well, it makes us feel more comfortable. It releases any fears that we may have. We don't want to get into anything that we're unsure of, right? And so a big reason that we set expectations is that we believe we are then controlling what the outcome is going to be. However, I believe we've all learned, because it's mostly adults listening to this podcast, that we have all experienced disappointment. We have all been, let down, right? And it just goes to show even more that we can't control the outcomes. But expectations make us feel a little bit more comfortable where we feel like that's happening, which then makes us agree to going into something or doing something whenever we know what to expect from it. So we think, right? So that's one of the main reasons. Also, we have beliefs of what someone or something is supposed to be like. And beliefs are just something that someone told you and you decided to believe it. It doesn't even have to be factual because it's not a known fact at all. It's something that you just believe that's just been recording over and over and over in your head. And now you believe it. And a lot of times we have beliefs, right, that someone told us, oh, a husband is supposed to be like this. When you have a husband or when you have a boyfriend, here are the differences between the two. This is how they are supposed to act. This is what they are supposed to do. And it goes across the board, right? Whether it's a child, a wife, a mother, father, whatever it may be. We have these expectations based on a belief system that has been recorded in our minds. And we then hold people to those beliefs, right? Once again, it makes us feel more comfortable. It makes us remove any fear that we have because we know what we're getting into. So we do believe, right? And then also titles drive expectations, right? So for example, a lot of women or men, when we get married, all the titles come, right? Okay, a wife is supposed to do this. She's supposed to cook. She's supposed to take care of the kids. Back in the day, she didn't have to work, but nowadays, most women are working, okay? But yet she's also supposed to do these other things around the house and for the husband and this, that, and the other, right? And then the same goes for husbands or wives have these expectations of that the man is supposed to cut the grass. The man is supposed to handle all of the outdoor work. The man is supposed to work and pay, most or all of the bills in the house, right? The man is supposed to make me feel safe. These are different requirements and expectations that we put in place, all because of a title. Because if you think back, whenever you first met your partner and whenever you're first dating, it's all fun and cool and you're enjoying the moment. And then boom, you set this title of, oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend now. Okay, so now expectations come with that. Okay, expectations such as we no longer see other people, right? Expectations such as we go on this amount of dates a week, or maybe you're moving in together, whatever it may be. And then you have the expectation again, you layer it onto your relationship of, oh, he proposed. Okay, so now we're engaged. Okay, so here are the expectations that go along with that. And then, oh, now we're married. Oh, and sometimes that's where all the fun just goes to the wayside because, oh, now we're married. Life gets real. Okay. And then you add in, a little salt and pepper called children. Actually, a little hot sauce, we'll call it. Add some hot sauce to that flavor now. And you have children. Expectations come in big time, right? And it's all because of the titles that we have in place. And so I just want to make sure that's very clear that a lot of this is already programmed within us. So this is why we're actually setting the expectations, where it's coming from, and why sometimes we don't even realize what we're doing. And that's why I wanted to bring up those points. But now I just want to give you some ideas of how it may be affecting you and ways that if you decide to change or if you decide to stay the same, what you may want to think about. But first, I want to ask you a question. Do you know of anyone that has expectations of you, okay, that you have been trying to live by? I'm sure you can think of one person. Or do you realize that people have expectations of you and you don't even know? That happens very, very often. That these people, it could be your spouse. We can use children, for example, here, that we may have expectations for our children of what we believe they should be, but yet and still, we haven't even communicated it to them. But if they don't do what we believe they should have done, we're angry, right? We're mad, we're disappointed. But the child is like, well, how was I supposed to know that I had so much control over your happiness and your joy and your anger and all of this, all because of these expectations that were never communicated? But it happens all the time, right? So we are all sitting in seats where people have expectations of us and they want us to fit in these seats perfectly. And we're like, wait, but hold on, why are you mad? I didn't even know that that was a requirement. I had no idea. These are the things that happened all the time. Okay. Have you lived a life, right? Been in a position where you have tried to live up to someone's expectations and it did not work? That you're like, you know what? You're requiring way too much of me and I cannot meet that requirement. And I was not fully aware of what I was walking into. And you're like, I'm done. I've had enough. Right? Or there may be people listening to this podcast right now that's still sitting in that position, where people have these expectations on you and you're like, my goodness. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I can only be me, right? Because a lot of times these expectations are being set and we don't even know where we're getting these ideas from. Once again, they're beliefs. Okay, beliefs of who? Because it was only told to you, so now you believe it. But the person that told you, and then the person that told them, and then the person that told them, where did it come from? And do you really believe it? Once you start knocking down all the walls, you have to realize, okay, is this something I want to unlearn? Or is this something I really do believe? Is this something I really do think should be a requirement or should be an expectation for the person that's in my life? Is that even factual? And then you have to ask yourself as you start looking through this, is it even realistic? Like, one way to know if it's unrealistic or not, ask yourself, could I even do this for myself? Okay. So for example, we ask for people to do things to make us happy and, oh, they should love me in this way and they should do things in that way. But then you have to sit back and ask yourself, like, is that realistic? Like, first off, do I love myself that way? Okay. Okay. Do I make myself happy? Okay. Well, if I can't do it, how am I even being a great example? Or why would I expect someone else to be able to do it as well? That doesn't make any sense. So then we put these unrealistic expectations on someone else, and then we're going to weigh them down. And if they let us down, then we're disappointed. But we couldn't even do it for ourselves, you know? And then on top of that, the weight that you're putting on the other person, it's unspoken. They don't even know that they're responsible for your happiness. They don't even know that they're responsible for your joy. You know, they're just trying to make it through their days, but they didn't realize, oh, I also have to add on to them in this particular way. You know, it's unspoken. We just say, oh, they should know. You don't know? You should already know. How are they supposed to know? So many expectations are just unspoken. And that's something that we need to unlearn and clear up and begin to be comfortable with communicating exactly what we're looking for or from someone else. Okay. That's very important. And then the other thing, whenever it comes to expectations, you know, we all have our own perspectives. And this is where we can kind of end up limiting ourselves. Okay. And limiting the love that we have with the people around us that we're possibly setting these expectations for, or we can take it away from just the people around us, but even say the places that we go and the things that we do. But we all have our own perspective. And so if I have a perspective, which I'm sharing with you right now, and you're listening to this and you have a totally different perspective on expectations, that is fair. Right? But I am not going to limit you in what I believe that you should feel or you should think about or how you should react to this, because I'm going to respect that you have your own perspective. And I think that something like that is very, very important to understand that everyone has their own viewpoint. And we can really spend a lot less time of trying to convince someone to see things from our way, because that will never happen, right? It happens a lot in relationships all the time. We're looking for the man to see things from the woman's point of view and for the woman to see things from the man's point of view, but it will never happen because I will never fully be in my husband's shoes. He will never fully be in my shoes. So how about we decide to stop wasting time trying to convince each other, right, of believing and seeing things the way that we want them to see them, and instead just say, you know what? I respect your perspective. You'll never be in my shoes. I'll never be in your shoes. But I respect your perspective. And therefore, because you have a different perspective, you are going to operate differently than what my expectations may be of you, because we have different perspectives. And then what this ends up uncovering is that we start having that full acceptance of the other person, because we're allowing them to fully be themselves instead of setting an expectation of what we believe they should be. So now we're fully accepting them, even if they don't meet our expectations. Expectations are out the window, or we've at least cut it down by 50%. Okay? It takes a practice. But the whole point is that you begin to allow that loved one to express themselves in a very safe space, because that's what you are creating. And then you may be blown away by the way they end up showing you the love that you wanted, the happiness, or whatever it may be, because now they have the opportunity to not be bonded in your expectations, and they're moving in the way that they want to move. And sometimes you don't even have to communicate that to them. Just in your mind, remove the expectations and then sit back and observe them and watch them flow. And you may be blown away at the blessings that you will receive, and you will see the beauty in that person that you've been holding expectations to, because you start to see things from your observation seat and you allow them to be exactly who they are, and you really see the beauty of them. And then you can truly accept and love them for exactly who they are and not who you expect them to be. Because the thing about it is that you are very limited. We are all very limited. And whenever I say that, you may say, oh, what do you mean by that? We only know what we know. And we only know what we know because of our own experiences in this lifetime. But I believe that we all know that there's so much more out there. We've only lived what we have lived, and every experience has not been the best experience. We've gone through our ups and downs and our roller coasters, right? And that's why we then attach on to these belief systems, and we have this fear within us and this, that, and the other. And then boom, here comes another opportunity, and we immediately want to limit it. We immediately want to, put these boundaries on it and set these expectations of what it's supposed to be. But we're only doing that based off of our previous experiences, which is very, very limited. And I say that all to lead to the point that you may be blown away. You will be blown away if you release yourself from setting these expectations of people and things and places and, different opportunities that may come up, and allow the universe to just really open your eyes to new ways of doing things, because you only know what you know. But there's a much bigger power, much bigger light than all of us. And that's where the faith comes in, right? And just believing and trusting, oh, it's taken care of. Oh, blow me away. Show me the magic. Show me the blessings. I know there's so much more to this. There has to be so much more. And that's what you begin to just believe and trust and live into. Okay? All right. So here's the homework. This is where we're going to go forward with expectations. Some things that I would like for you to try, and I would love to hear how it actually works out for you. So I would like for you to do something new, maybe this weekend. Do something. It doesn't even have to be doing something new, but just do something, and do not set an expectation for it. Just do it. Okay? And then watch what happens. Okay? So that can look like, you know what? I'm going to this party this weekend, right? Or I'm going to a soccer meet this weekend, whatever it may be, however you're living your lives on your weekends. And instead of you saying, yeah, I'm going to the soccer meet and I know we're going to win, and I already know that Beth is going to be there, and Beth, oh, I hope she doesn't sit next to me because, oh, she gets on my nerves. And, oh, we're also going to go and eat here. I know that already, whatever it may be. Like, stop setting expectations. It's enough to know that, yes, we are going. Got it. But then just say, oh, universe, surprise me. I know there's beauty in something there. There's a reason why I'm here. What's going on? And just show up. Do your part. Simply show up and allow yourself to be blown away whenever you don't have these limitations on what you believe that experience is supposed to be. Okay, so that's one assignment. Another assignment that you can do, you can add on or, choose one of the three, whatever works best for you. I do not want you to get too overwhelmed with this, but homework assignment number 2, communicate your expectations that you have to the people that you have them for. That is only fair. Okay? So if you have found that there are people in your lives as we're having this conversation and you can say, yeah, I do have an expectation for them. Ask yourself, have you communicated it? And if you haven't, they deserve it. And then have that conversation with them and allow them to say, yes, I can make that work, or no, this is not going to work for me at all. And you have to accept that. But your part is to go to them and just say, you know what? This is what I expect of you. Is that too much? Is that something that you think is realistic? Or how can we work together? Do you need me to show you what I'm asking for here? Have the open communication. Let that person understand why you may be rolling your eyes at them. Because they don't know. Why is she rolling her eyes at me every 30 minutes? Because you are not meeting my expectations, sir. Well, this time, let's let them know. What are the expectations? And allow them to say if they can meet them or not. If you decide to continue to live with these expectations in place in some areas of your life, you may pick and choose. I pick and choose. I totally get it. But it's important to communicate it, and clear it up and put it out there. So then now, whenever he catches you rolling your eyes next time, he knows exactly why the eyes are being rolled. And that's fair. He needs to know why he's catching the rolled eyes. Okay. All right. So they're the third homework assignment that you can add on or just choose it for yourself. But if you are uncomfortable with living a life where you have been filling the expectations that someone has for you, and it's not working for you, you realize that they have these expectations for you and you continue to work towards them and you're not happy with it, or you're doing your best and it just doesn't seem to be working. If that is you, release yourself. Release yourself. You deserve better. Release yourself. On that note, I appreciate you all for listening an additional week with me. We're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Great stuff coming about. So let's continue to heal, learn, and grow together. I love you all. Have an amazing week. Peace. I am Dr. Zen Johnson, and you've been listening to Unlearning Life as We Know It podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Dr. Zen Johnson. If you haven't yet, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join me next week for another awakening conversation. Thank you for listening.